Hey, I know. You could immediately dismiss this theory because it doesn't fit into anybody's agenda. Maybe it's when America and the free market started falling in love, getting together. Maybe, you think? Something happened around here. The media always seems to get it wrong. The track record of the free market is pretty darn clear. It works, and now we have this hockey stick chart to prove it. Although we haven't fully implemented the free market since progressives started growing government about 100 years ago, we're still more free than most other nations. Let me show you this. Between 1974 and 2004, you ready? Households that earned less than $75,000 a year, those poor people here in the United States, they got poorer, didn't they? Well, kind of. $75,000 a year, this number went down by 10%. So, in other words, 10% of people that were making this, that pie grew smaller. It decreased. But here's what's weird. Those earning more than $75,000 a year, that number went up by about 10%. It's almost like the poor people started to move over into this category. More people earning more money. But forget that. This isn't the solution you're looking for. Just push all of our wealth around the world. What does Barack Obama want to do? Punish success. Oh, America. So, America, you gotten a little greedy, have you, yeah? Look at the globe. This guy here in Cambodia, where in this general area, he's making $1. Well, you sit fat and happy, yeah? Time to be a good global citizen. Fork it over. I don't want to have to drag it out of you, but believe me, we will. Understand one thing. Look at the chart again. Look at this chart. What's normal? 5000 BC, 2000 AD. Is this normal? Al Gore would say, panic! So that's clearly not normal. Poverty is normal. The exception is prosperity. Now, why would you try to stop this? Why? Look at it this way. You're in the desert. And you're like, water. Just a little cup of water. Water. You can hear, water. Then Barack Obama and his buddies come. Hey, don't drill for more water. There's a lot of people around here that don't have any water at all. Everybody, don't drill. Get thimbles. Let's take some of that water and just everybody can have a little sippy cup of it. That's ridiculous. Drill for more water. Drill for more prosperity. Not spread it out over here. That's a bad idea. Is it just me? Do you want to go back living in the desert? Kind of barren over here. You know, but only for about 6,800 years. That's it. This is what happens every time there's a financial crisis in this country. All around the world. Marxists, progressives, they always call for more government, more taxes, more government spending, more punishment, yeah? Barack Obama is out there yelling now at Germany. Oh, I hope we don't waste all that goodwill that the president, he hasn't squandered that, has he? He's yelling at people in the EU, telling them to spend more money. But big support for big government is dead. Socialist parties in almost every election in every nation have lost now to conservatives, even liberals. It happened in the UK, Italy, Belgium, Germany, the Netherlands, the Czech Republic, I believe Hungary, just to name a few. They're actually cutting the entitlements. They're raising the retirement ages. And Obama is saying, you know, what we should do is we should spend more, the rest of the world. Why would we do that? Tim Geithner told the G20 to boost spending for as long as necessary to counter a severe financial crisis. George Soros, seriously, who doesn't love George Soros? He told the Germans to spend more or it was going to trigger a deflationary spiral, which Deflation is coming, America. Deflation is coming. And then wild hockey stick inflation. He said, if Germany doesn't spend more, they'll endanger the European Union as a whole. The Europeans declared the welfare state was dead. Dead. But here we are, heading down that very path. Why? Oh, and by the way, one more thing. The Royal Bank of Scotland is now advising its clients to prepare for monster money printing by the Federal Reserve. Deflation, inflation. Same story over and over again. Happens in history over and over again. The socialist advisors of FDR said the same thing. Some of them were actually good intention. Let me show you. This guy is Henry Morgenthau Jr. This guy. He was a good friend of FDR. He was a Treasury Secretary under FDR. He was a key figure. He helped design the New Deal. Okay, he appeared before the House Ways and Means Committee in 1939. He said, and I quote, "We have tried spending money. We are spending more than we have ever spent before, and it just doesn't work. I have just one interest, and if I'm wrong, somebody else can have my job." I want to see people get enough to eat. I say after 8 years of this administration, we've had just as much unemployment as when we started, an enormous debt to boot. Here's a guy who helped design it. He wasn't a foe of FDR. But the key sentence in this was, I have one thing that I really want. I want to see this country prosperous. Well, do we have that now? You see, that's different than what I think we have. Right now we have the global elites and this administration. That's not wanting this country to be prosperous. That's having this warm and fuzzy Mother Teresa kind of moment where you're like, everybody, and we can all hold hands. They want to devolve this country. They want to see the globe equals. Well, so do I, but this doesn't work. Remember our chart? It was pretty equal from 5000 BC to 1800. That was equal for you. Now look, we've told you about the Great Depression of 1920. We showed you it was cut short because they reduced taxes, they reduced spending. You don't even know about the Depression of 1920, do you? It led to the Roaring Twenties. They never talk about what led to the Roaring Twenties, slashing the size of government. No. But have you ever heard of the Depression of 1946? No? Oh, you have to hear about the Depression of 1946. It makes so much sense. It might even, wow, it's almost like if we learn from history, we may not repeat it when we come back. Saw on this globe, this is fantastic. I think I had this globe when I was a kid. Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. Yeah, when they were the bad guys. But they're not anymore. I looked into Pooty-Poot's eyes, and he was a friend. All right, so here's the story of the Depression of 1946. Oh, I forgot. There was no Depression of 1946. No, but everybody predicted there would be one. What happened? 1946, the economy was on the brink. Between 1943 and 1945, what were we doing? Fighting a war. So we had to spend all this money. Government was just pouring money into everything. Our debt went from 50% to 120% of GDP. Also, everybody was working for the government. Everybody. 47% of labor worked for the U.S. government. Okay? 27%, they were in labor unions. Remember, you couldn't work for the government and a labor union at the time. That was up 10% in 10 years. Got it? So you're in either a labor union or you're working for the government. Now, all of the big-time economists of the time, you know, the Paul Krugmans of the 1940s. In fact, give me this guy. This guy's Alvin Hansen. He looks smart, doesn't he? He was giving us a warning that as the war came to a close, we'd dive right back into depression. Now remember, our parents and grandparents were freaking out because they remember soup lines. They didn't want that. He said, because the government is spending so much money and everybody's working for the government, you can't just stop spending. He said you can't. In fact, may I quote him? Egghead speaking. Here we go. The government cannot just disband the army, close down munitions factories, stop building ships, and remove all economic controls. It just can't be done, says Mr. Egghead. In September 1945, Business Week predicted unemployment would be at about 14%. Okay? Economists for the American Federation of Labor forecast 20 million people unemployed. That was 35%. Republicans campaigned against Democrats. I love this. And just ask yourself this question, will you? Maybe not now, but soon you'll be asking this question. And so will your neighbors. Had enough? The Republicans used that slogan and they won control of Congress. So what did they do? Well, they said, this is too high. This is too high. This is a problem.